Hi, I'm Howard Jackson from Open Door Multimedia, and this afternoon I'm recording the newsletter for January 2013. I'll be looking back at 2012, which was a great year for the business, and I'll be looking forward to 2013 and talking about some of the ideas and plans for the coming year. 2012 started with a film that I made for the Solway Coast Area of Outstanding Natural Beauty about a hedge lane competition that took place at Roughbase Hands near Carlisle. That was followed by a film about horse logging that was made at Brantwood House on the shores of Coniston. Those two films, plus another film that I made the previous year about half netting for salmon on the Solway, are the nucleus for a portfolio on rural heritage, and that's an area of work I'd like to develop in 2013. After those two films, I did some work with David Redman, who's an outsourced consultant in human resources. His business is called Employment Practice and Law, and it featured as well as David, a video testimonial by Neil Simpson, who's the managing director of Simpson Skoda in Preston, and it shows the power of a video testimonial in a promotional film. Moving on, I did some work over a 4-week period with More Than Words, which is a theatre group for adults with a learning disability. I did 4 sessions with them, had an absolute ball, learned a lot, and the end result was a really powerful promotional DVD so they can use to explain to people what they do and also use it to attract funding from hopefully national charities. Following on from there, I did some work with Lynn Duffy, who's the founder and chief executive of the Honey Rose Foundation, and that's a St Helens based charity that provides special days for people who are terminally ill or living with life-threatening conditions. So a great charity. That film very much featured how the charity works with volunteers, how it welcomes volunteers, some really powerful messages in the film. From there was a flurry of activity in the Wigan area, which was really nice. It started with a film that I made for Wigan and Lee Council for Voluntary Service about the Abram Fair Share Community Development Programme, and it went on to some work I did with Friends of Families, which is a Wigan charity that provides holidays for people who really need them. They've got accommodation on the Ribby Hall site, which is between Preston and Blackpool, absolutely top-class accommodation. We use photography in that film a lot to show the facilities that are available. After that, I did some work with Think Ahead, which is a charity that supports people who've had a stroke. That project featured dragon boat racing, so 1, it was a fundraising event, but 2, it was an awareness raising event. And any businesses or networking groups that are looking for a team building exercise, brilliant example of that. I expect that the charity will run a similar event in September in 2013, so watch this space if you're interested in a team building event. Moving on from there, in November last year, I did some filming at a conference about care homes. The conference was organised by the Business Focus Group, which is a networking group that I'm part of. It meets at the Park in Lee every Friday. Following on from the conference, I did some work with Keith Irwin, who's from Helios Renewable Energy, and John Hodkinson, who's a consultant in business resilience. Their films featured them presenting during the conference, and it helped people to understand how they work and sort of demonstrate their communication skills. So again, some really powerful messages coming out of those films. The final film for 2012 was some work I did with Anne Davis of BizWiz UK. Anne is a consultant and a trainer who specialises in social media. A main area of activity is LinkedIn, but she also works in other social media platforms. Anne's film again featured a video testimonial, this time by Peter Dobson, who's the Managing Director of PMD Leasing in Oldham. Again, really powerful messages coming out of that video testimonial. So I'd highly recommend anyone who's having a promotional film made to include 1 or even more video testimonials. Really powerful stuff. Looking forward to 2013, one of my development areas will be within social media. Done some work in the back end of 2012 to do with Google+, Facebook for Business, and particularly LinkedIn. I'll be carrying on with that work, partly to promote Open Door Multimedia, but partly to develop more detailed skills and knowledge so that I can use them to help my clients get the absolute maximum advantage out of the films that they've had made. I'll be moving all my post-production activity to Final Cut Pro, which is a professional editing package by Apple. It's a steep learning curve for me, but I'm well on the way, and the possibilities for Final Cut Pro are tremendous. In the middle of January, I'll be making a presentation to the Crossroads networking group that meet at Radcliffe on a quarterly basis. I'll be talking about obviously open door multimedia, but I'll also be talking about how businesses and organisations can use film to promote what they do and to train the staff, and giving some messages about getting the best advantage from YouTube, for example. And finally, I'm just going to say a few words about photography. Now, I've been involved in photography for 35 years, much longer than I've been involved in film. Over the last 5 or 6 years, film has been my main focus, but I've always used photographs extensively in the films I've made. In the coming year, I'm going to be promoting the photography that I do as a standalone service. I've already done some work this year with a specialist clothing manufacturer. That's to put together their catalogue for the coming year and also to give them material for the website, but I'll be looking to develop that. And really that's about all for January 2013. I'm Howard Jackson from Open Door Multimedia. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish you all the best for the coming year. I hope it's a good one for you. So thanks for watching, and I hope we can talk soon.